And then finally, and in the Bronze Age is when the male, this kind of, and it's hard to say that it's just male, it's just the way it is, you know. It becomes very linear, and then we finally come into the Kali Yuga where we are now. And in this age, complete what we would call the patriarchy, you know, this male domination. And it really, the patriarchy has also to do with the complete repression of the spirit by these forces that are, you know, leading us towards our dissolution right now. And so in the traditions that I've trained in, which still hold, this tantric tradition, still holds these feminine values so clearly and so beautifully, woman and nature herself and the physical body are seen as this expression of the divine. And so it gives us a very, very different perception of reality also in these traditions. There isn't a break between body and spirit. It's all one. It's all spirit. There's a word, Shakti, that, you know, many people know that study yoga. Shakti is the force, the feminine light of divinity. And that force is in everything and everyone. It is the animating force of life. And we have to now revitalize ourselves, come back to nature by drinking in the Shakti force, feeling this amazing power of the feminine that nurtures and sustains us all, and regrow the world.
Well said. Okay, I'm Jay Weidner. We're listening to Sharron Rose on Smoke and Mirrors Radio Hour every Monday through Friday, every weekday night. We'll be right back. And we're back. I'm Jay Weidner, and you're listening to the Smoke and Mirrors Radio Hour. We're here every Monday through Friday night, 6 to 7 in the Pacific. We're rebroadcast 6 to 7 in the morning. So listen in, learn up, live your life right. That's what life is about. You only got one shot, and this is it. I wanted to remind everyone that I have a new film out called Infinity, The Ultimate Trip, which is being can be shown in your area. If you have a church or a local store, or you want to show it yourself, just go to sacredmysteries.com and you can figure out from what we have there how to show the film. We're trying to create a whole new underground way of showing films that kind of doesn't end run around Hollywood. And it's a long, slow process. But with digital technology, all this is incredibly possible. And we need to take advantage of the things that technology gives us so that we can create these parallel societies that I think are so important to our human future. Anyway, we're back with Sharron Rose. Sharron Rose is the Renaissance woman, an artist, a businesswoman, a woman who thinks that women should be feminine, yet is strong enough to live her own life. And I think that's a really good role model for women. I think it's a good role model for men, too. And so, Sharron, you were talking about this like force that comes from the feminine and how important it is for society. And we kind of live in a society now that denigrates women. And we have rap artists who write songs that trash women. And in the movies, women are portrayed frequently as being a little bit psychotic, actually a lot psychotic. And I just wondered what you think of what the modern world, now that Edward Bernays' effects on our media are fully realized. What do you think the media is trying to tell young women these days?
Honestly, I think that they're trying to tell them to become Satan worshipers. They are giving such a horrible message. Well, when I wrote my book, The Path of the Priestess, first I'll go back to when I went to India. I grew up with the feminist movement. You know, we were trying to break every boundary, and we did. But we took on the problem with it. You know, we had a lot of wonderful things, but what happened was we started emulating men, and this was all part of, I think, the Edward Bernays type. Let's see. Jose Arguelles would call it the dream spell. Alberto Viola would call it the cultural trance that we have been put in, that women and men were oriented completely toward consumerism. To keep us, it was that the media was putting us in a state of perpetual craving for these products that took us away from our true deep values, and particularly our femininity. And when I made my way to India to live with my teacher, I was very fortunate to be able to live with a living legend, queen of North Indian classical dance, former Bollywood film star and tantric adept, Sitara Devi. She looked at me, she said, you look like a man. You don't know anything about being a woman. And then proceeded over time to completely break me free of the, you know, conditioning and mindset that had been imposed upon me in America. She threw out my Western clothes. She had me wear it. She said, how are you going to become a goddess? Because in this tradition that I'm a part of, it's ancient, going back, could I say, to the beginning of the yugas, where the dancer is a storyteller and a musician, and you become the vehicle through which these ancient stories are told. You tell the entire story yourself. You become all the characters. And one of the main characters is the goddess. India is a very interesting place in that they have kept the goddess tradition, the great mother, very much alive, even through the Kali Yuga, even through all kinds of machinations. There is a great level of still respect for the feminine, and particularly for the mother. The mother becomes the total kind of controller of the household. When you walk into their house, at least when I was there, you know, there's such a level of respect for elders and for their wisdom. And it was a beautiful thing for me to become a part of. So she said, you know, she dressed me like the goddess and trained me in these subtle expressions and subtle understandings and movements. You know, in the old times in America, they would have called it, what did they call it? They had a kind of a training, you know, you would have to walk with a book on your head. But it wasn't just about, you know, being seductive. It was about what is feminine power. Feminine power has to do with women are like the forces of nature. Wild. And it's a different kind of power than male power. Very different. Women's anatomy is completely different. You know, male anatomy is very linear. The woman's anatomy is the womb. It's a receptive. And women have, in this West, lost their receptivity. They have tried to emulate men, and more are losing their true femininity. The men are lost. And the women need to come back and hold them again and love them again. And I think if that could happen, women could really come together, and I'd like to talk about Cliff High's perception of this, then the entire world could change. We could come back to grace.
I agree. Women need to lead men out of the wilderness here.